Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal, PeaceLoveMusic, with another edition of the Let's Go Morning Show. Good morning, Stacks, brought to you live with DeOrganized Media and partnership with Bitcoin Live Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Election Day, Tuesday morning, the 5th of November, here in the U.S., and we got some really interesting things going on in our space today. A lot of people are waited with bated breath to see what the outcome of the election is. I'm not totally sold, to be honest, that it's going to have a huge immediate impact, but I do think it'll actually have a significant long-term impact on the crypto space, on Bitcoin, and by extension, the Stacks community, which we also love. Friendly reminder, this is a news show. We are providing news and information only. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research and never invest money you cannot afford to lose. And with that, we're going to tell you Bitcoin's holding steady. It's right about the same price it was yesterday morning, 68.87 at about 10 minutes ago before we launched. Stacks ticked back up. It had hit a low in the 140s early yesterday, and it's ticked back up over $1.50 to $1.52, reclaiming the number 34 place by market cap on coin market cap. Fear and greed index did tick down a little bit more, still holding on to that neutral range. We did not go into fear, but it's holding on to that number 50 spot, or a number 50, still holding on to that neutral place. And the top three gainers on coin market cap over the past 24 hours are Doge, MOG, and Popcat token. And follow DeOrganized BTC for more. We have a great show this afternoon. We're going to do live coverage of the election, broadcasting live with Bitcoin Live and DeOrganized. We have a huge panel of guests that are going to be rotating in and out. I last count, we might even have more than 20 people that are swinging through. We got Landy, who's an election official out in his area, going to be coming on, giving us reports about what he's seeing on the ground. So we have a live on the ground reporter coming in, giving us some information. We're just super excited about that. Tune in. Will be after 6 p.m. tonight, Eastern time. And we're going to run it as long as there's interest and interesting things going on with the election. We expect it to go late night. And we'll be covering it live. If I am a little slow in the morning with the morning show, you'll know why. It'll be because I'm probably going to be up until like 1 o'clock covering the election. Stacks calendar for the day. There's not a ton of stuff on there. We have our Good Morning Stacks show. The Stacks DeFi show is on at 10 p.m. And then Art on Stacks with Good Kitty and Yetta, always a great show. That's going to run from 3 to 5 p.m. I will definitely stop in and say hi, chat with them, and see if they're interested in coming on and chatting with us during the election coverage as well. And then I probably won't make it until 5 p.m. because I got to jump in and we got to test some stuff out before we go live at 6. But that's all we have on the calendar for the day. Shout out to Rubes, man. He's been killing it lately. Rubes if you don't know Rubes.btc. He's the founder of the Leo coin. The founder's cat is Leopold, and the Leo coin is Rubes project. And he has he got Munib's ear. He had got on a phone call with Munib yesterday. He was talking with us about it last night, and he's coordinated to have Munib come into a space on Wednesday morning, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. To kind of go over what's going on with Nakamoto. And this is a response to Rubes after a number of people in the community have expressed concerns about or suggested that there are opportunities to improve the communications between the top level and the core devs and the Stacks Foundation and the upper levels at Hero Systems and Trust Machines, and of which Munib is also the CEO, and the community. And that's true. I mean, we've been working on this for a few months through the grants. DeOrganized came up as part of that as well, just to kind of get more spotlight on the projects and also kind of be a conduit between the community and the builders. And we're trying to facilitate more of that. And then here comes Rubes and gets the founder to come chat with us, which is unheard of. I've never heard of that in any other kind of crypto ecosystem. So that's just really cool stuff. letting everybody know SIP 28 signer criteria is now live. Go to stx.eco to vote for SIP 28. We need to get that passed. If you guys want to see SBTC, SIP 10 Bitcoin on unleashed on Stacks and into the Stacks ecosystem and on Stacks DeFi, we need to pass SIP 28. Also, SIP 29 is a new SIP proposal to adjust the reward halving for Stacks to match the Bitcoin halving. And that's to kind of keep some stability in the network while we're going through Nakamoto and the launch of SBTC. Shout out to Skullcoin, story mode, free to play now on Skullcoin, skullco.in. That's live on Stacks mainnet. If you haven't played it, check it out. It's skullco.in. Broo Runes is now, mint is live on ordinalsbot.com. Head over to ordinalsbot.com and pick yourself up some Broo Runes. You guys this is public mint now available. You guys can get in, get your Broo Runes, and don't miss out on this. You're going to be kicking yourself in a few months if you find yourself without any Broo Runes once you see what they have planned for this stuff. In interesting news, Jim Cramer says market action suggests traders expect a Kamala Harris win. I wonder if the inverse Cramer effect is going to come into play here, and maybe this is a good sign for Donald Trump and Trump supporters. We'll have to see what happens with the election results to see if Cramer once again is reliably incorrect. Joe Rogan officially endorses Donald Trump for president, and in a surprise appearance on the Joe Rogan show, on the Joe Rogan podcast, Elon Musk says that America is on a path towards bankruptcy if we don't cut government spending, and also believes that a Kamala Harris administration will weaponize the DOJ in an effort to take down X in the U.S. They're not probably going to be able to knock it down, but they can make it really hard. And personally, I've found in the last year, a lot more open dialogue and the capacity to engage with people of differing opinions and backgrounds exists on X like no other space available to us right now. So I have a vested interest in seeing X succeed and thrive. And I think most of us do too. Most of you watching here are watching on X right now. Boom ghostly transactions, a regular NFT, or perhaps an opportunity for future benefits on Boom Wallet. Minting now on gamma.io. There's a mint for Boom ghostly transactions that launched recently, put out by the Boom.money team. And I'm just supposing that there may be some downline benefits for holders when the Boom Wallet product launches. So go check that out. Also, the Tremp NFT is now in public mint, now live, minting on gamma.io. I am such a huge fan of this project, partly because I have an homage in there, a one of one that Ace, absolute cost of everything. If you guys don't know him, you should definitely be following him. He's a tremendous dude. He hooked me up. He pulled it in the mint and sorted out a very, very fair deal for me to acquire the one of one that GPSC made for me specifically. I'm just I've had such a great couple of days with people. Reese made a one of one for me. Mr. Wolf took care of me with a not punk after I whiffed on that mint, and then now this with the Tremp. Got some representation all over the place. I love our community. I'm like almost embarrassed. I'm so appreciative. Like, it's almost like I don't like talking about myself, but I mean, when I keep getting this much love, I must be doing something right too. I already talked about Skullcoin. Zero authority bounties. There are 5 open bounties with more to come. There's one specifically for the Power Awards. Power Awards just launched. They're voting, so go check out Good Kitty's thread for the Power Awards nominees. I think there was like 15 or 16 nominees, and we need to get the vote out for the community vote. So go check that thread out and make sure you're voting for the grant awards. And also just let you guys know, and this is another thing we have going on. super excited. I can't keep up with everything I have to do. But this weekend, I'm actually going to be going up to Harvard to do some live coverage. This is our first time live event coverage. So we'll see how it goes. And we're always just learning and growing, right? But the EZA app guys, the Kwok brothers, Phil and Dom, and the people in their group have been super gracious. They came on one of our DeOrganized spaces. We had a great conversation. I love what they're building out there. There's going to be a ton of big brains out at Harvard on Saturday and Sunday. And I'm going to go and try to meet some of them and spotlight them on DeOrganized and just keep doing what we're doing here. And so that is our news for the day. And we actually have a special news segment in the space here. Stacksy is going to be coming up with very shortly. I'm going to bring her on. She's going to do the weekly recap brought to you by RooCoin. RooCoin, again, we just mentioned amongst all the other things, they just launched runes. They also just announced that they have I'll let Stacksy talk to you about that with some of the others. She's going to give a recap on the news from last week and what's coming up in the Stacks community. And I'm going to bring her up shortly. Stay tuned for 1 minute.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you a short recap and about all the news that happened throughout the week on Stacks. And let's hop right in. So obviously Stacks Nakamoto went live. The long awaited update finally went live, and while there's still some tuning and adjustments needed, the launch of Nakamoto was a success, and fast blocks with Bitcoin finality is now a reality on Stacks. The next big thing happening right now is the SBTC sign-up criteria. SIP 28 voting has gone live. The next step in launching the long-awaited SBTC 1-to-1 SIP 10 BTC pegged asset on Stacks is community approval of the sign-up criteria governing the peg-in, peg-out mechanism. Voting is live now on stx.eco, and we need to reach a certain threshold of voters and their combined amount of stacks in order for SBTC to go live this year. So guys, if you want to participate in our decentralized community and do something useful for our ecosystem, please go ahead and vote. Then we had the leading Web3 security firm, Asymmetric Research, has joined the Stacks ecosystem as a signer, helping to secure the BTC SPTC peg-in, peg-out process. Pretty huge, because they're I think like really one of the leading firms, so that's nice. Next we have a new proposal for a SIP voting on the Stacks halving cycle with the BTC halving cycle to realign them. So basically this vote has been proposed to match the Stacks halving cycle with the BTC halving. The current date for the Stacks block reward halving is due to occur in late December this year. There's a concern that having this adjustment to the ecosystem in the middle of Nakamoto and the SBTC launch could cause some problems in the system. So the proposal actually results in a short-term increase in the emissions scheduled for Stacks' supply. But in the long term, it will reduce in overall emissions by 2050 with a max supply of 1.8 billion stacks. Then, our favorite room community, the founders Jake Finswich and Ian Banksia have once again innovated with a new value-added feature for their community and the Stacks ecosystem overall. In partnership with OrdinalsBot, they have launched Roo Runes, with the free allocation being airdropped to holders of Roo tokens and Stacks Invader NFTs. Whitelisted holders and collab community members were able to allocate, which is now live on OrdinalsBot. Also be on the lookout for the runes and USDH pair coming up soon. For people that don't know what USDH is, it's our own Bitcoin-backed stablecoin on Stacks, which is absolutely amazing. So we're all awaiting that. Then our Stacks tools got a refresh by their V5 update, and the team over at Stacks.tools have added a bunch of new features, helping the Stacks community to stay informed and up to date with tokens and NFTs trading in the ecosystem, and also now powered with Lunar Crush integration, which is also massive and makes our daily time in the ecosystem much more efficient. And we have more info at our hands. Also, Not Punk NFTs mint went live, and that was a collaboration between Spaghetti Punk and the Not community. It was a collection of 5,000 NFTs, which minted out in a record time and was super popular. Caused even some congestion in our blockchain. So congratulating everyone on that amazing, successful mint, and everyone who managed to snag one, because it was really hard. It was really hard. The wars, the fee wars, and everything was tough. Yeah, I didn't get one. Next, we had Skullcoin finally launching their game on mainnet. It's not the multiplayer version yet, so for now it's also not the play to earn game as well. It's just the first version on mainnet, where you can, as a single player, get acquainted to the game, a little bit like work on your skills. So once the competitive game goes live, you will already have some skills to earn these skull coins. And they also have massive collaborations with a lot of meme communities. So I'm really looking forward to it. If you want to try out the game, you have to go to scalco.in and connect your wallet and just have some fun. It's really, really fun. And the last one I will say are, of course, our Zero Authority DAO bounties for everyone who is a creative in our community. This is the best place to go to be helpful and also get rewarded for it. They are currently, as Peace said, 5 bounties live, and I'm sure there will be new bounties coming daily or weekly. So go ahead, check out where you can be helpful to mutually benefit our ecosystem. And obviously, yesterday, the Tramp NFT collection went live by the Tramp community and GPSC, who is an incredible artist and created that collection. They're super fun, colorful. I've already minted mine, and today with the election, I think it's a super cool timing to mint one. There's still many available, so go ahead and get yours and be just support our people, support our projects and our ecosystem. And that's it for this week. I'm sure we're gonna have so much more happening throughout this week, so I will give you a fresh recap next Monday. Peace.
Stacksy, that was great. Thank you so much for providing that to us. And actually, speaking of the Tramp NFT mints and GPSC and the amazingly talented GPSC, he's coming in to chat with us. Let me bring him on up.
That's amazing.
What's up, my
Good
brother?
morning.
Let me see.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Morning.
There we go. Good morning, man. How are you today, bro?
Doing good. It's a little rainy outside today, but excited for the election stream later. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's a good day.
How are you feeling now that you have the collection minting on such a day? It must feel cool, no?
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. You know, I put a lot of work into this. I pushed this to the front because we wanted this to launch before election day. So it was a lot of crunch time, a lot of getting out there, doing a lot of collabs. We got some good collabs with like Bitflow and Stacking DAO. All of these communities were very supportive. So it was great. It's awesome to have it launched.
Holders.
Yeah, yeah. Stacksy Galactic Goddess
You all
holders.
Thank you for that.
Yep, they all got whitelist spots. It was fun, man. Getting to collab with everybody, getting to work closer with everybody on this, and now it's finally come to fruition. So it's awesome. It's amazing to be building something bigger than myself in this community.
Man, I can't stop smiling about the number 365. You know, I also catch the 365 reference too, right?
There
Man,
you
that's
go.
I love it. I haven't
Yeah,
actually
man.
gotten to see it since are the traits updated yet? I haven't got a chance to geek on them yet. But
Yeah, so I uploaded the metadata. They should, if you refresh, you should see the traits updated for all of the one of ones that have minted so far, and it is a go.
Stacksy,
Yeah,
I
through
think
that
you saw
365.
it. Did you see the Did you see the Peace Love?
Yeah, the one with the long
Yep.
hair. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The tie-dye T-shirt says DeOrganized on top. Man, GPSC
Super cool.
above and beyond, man, above and beyond. Thank you so much. I definitely minted a few others. Thank God I got some good ones, so I was able to reward Ace. And again, shout out to Ace. Thank you so much for Ace pulled it. Ace minted it. Those that don't know, and he gave me an opportunity. He actually sent it to me and was like, "Oh, we'll sort it out later." And I was like, "No, let me know what you want." And I ended up actually giving him a really nice one that I minted that he liked. That was my favorite of the ones I minted, and then also gave him the rarest Leo NFT I minted as well. So it was a fair trade because I wanted to make sure that I probably value my own NFT more than anybody else anyway. It's kind of the same thing in real estate. Like if you're buying the house next door to you, you have a more vested interest than the rest of the market because you already own the house in the neighborhood. It's like monopoly. But man, thank you. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's stop
Ace is
talking
solid,
about
man.
Man, guys, how
Yeah,
we
Ace
feel?
is solid.
Photo went live. We never got the chance to speak about it. Like, how we doing? How are we excited?
for Nakamoto.
Mm,
I think it's going. I mean, obviously there were some hiccups in. It wasn't exactly what people were expecting immediately. And my understanding is that there's some tuning that needs to be done. It already seems like things are starting to be more consistently fast. I think some of the contract launching seems to be also going a little slow still. But the communications
and
from
also, I think NFT minting is also not yet fast.
it's not quite
Like,
well.
That.
The not mint on Saturday morning was impossible. You know, there was like a good 15, 20 minutes left when I caught onto it, and it shouldn't have taken that long to process my buy. And then I missed it. And then I tried to buy on the public mint, and that also didn't, it was because it's just overloaded the system, you know?
Yeah, yesterday was a little bit better. I'm seeing that a few people, different people, saying that minting yesterday was a little bit better for the Trump NFTs and stuff. So all of these things are being worked on, and like you said, tuned
It's
up.
not yet.
So
I
I'm
would
really
say,
excited.
yeah, I would say it's not yet stable. So sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's not. But whenever it's fast, I'm just excited that it's fast, and whenever it's not, I'm like, okay, they will fix it.
Right. When it's fast, it's very fast. It's very fast.
Yeah,
it goes
same.
real.
And when
It's
not, we're used
gonna
to
be
it, so.
for a little bit.
I'm losing you a little bit, GP.
I dropped down a little bit there. I was just saying.
You're racking a bit.
Yeah, I'm losing your audio. I think you're not lined up.
Any
too.
better
I think you might have a
now?
little bit. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm left.
So also, let's speak a little bit maybe about the
Can
rooms.
you guys hear me better?
Oh yeah, now.
Yeah, I'm.
So I just want to
Yeah,
say,
so
like,
I'm
I've
excited
already
about
said
the
on
runes. You
Facebook-
brought the runes.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes.
LMAO agrees too. It was fast
I've
yesterday.
already been speaking on a space about it, and I'm just impressed by how Jack has long-term vision, and he already had like day one edged runes for us ready, and have the words or hint on that throughout all these months. So this man has a plan, and I like that. And
There was a small hint. If you looked at the metadata on the Stacks Invaders, it said that there was runes attached to them. But you had to look at the metadata on the actual trait data. And then, so I noticed it and I asked Jack about it, and he explained to me that there was a day one runes mint that I kind of knew. I knew Jack and Ian were into the runes thing right around the same time that they launched. I didn't know it was going to be day one runes until after, but yeah, it was definitely very visionary. I mean, just hit after hit with that whole project.
Yeah, now he is saying that there's another plan to connect it all together, and I'm like, well, I didn't doubt for a second that you didn't have a plan.
Well, one of the things is, you're going to need the Rue runes to mint the Rue Defenders Ordinals collection. If you want to mint, and if you're a Rue bro, of course you want to mint the Rue Defenders Ordinals collection. And if you're in Ordinals, of course you want to mint something like that with such a huge community behind it. Yeah, it's going to be, so you need the runes for that, but also the partnership with Hermetica and the trade pair for USDH runes, Rue runes X USDH trade pair, the first trade pair for a meme coin on a Bitcoin backed dollar stable coin in our ecosystem. That's huge. You're going to be able to, there's going to be a pair on Velar for the SUSDH or whatever that, like the SIP10 USDH pair with Rue coins on Velar. So you're gonna have like just tremendous opportunities for deploying your runes into DeFi, which is totally novel. Like that's a brand new thing. So yeah, it's amazing what Jack and the team over there.
I also like to see how we are finally like a little bit more merging with the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. Like I can see now also with Bitflow planning their trading pairs with SIP10s and runes and like all of that together. Our community is merging, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, well, right. None of this is possible without what Bitflow has been building out. Bitflow is that's a huge key. That's a huge factor, both for Stacks and for runes users to be able to, runes are coming to Stacks, which means runes are coming to DeFi in a very real way, and Bitflow is facilitating that completely. Dylan came on the whatever. We had the Whatever Monday show last night. There was so many people who just came on. It was unscheduled, like unplanned guests, and they all just kind of popped in. But Dylan came on, was chatting about Bitflow and some of the functionality there, and it's crazy. There's just so many.
A lot of Bitcoin people like didn't really know what Stacks is, and they were quite like in Bitflow and stuff, so they were quite amazed. So I feel like we're gonna have more eyes on us now, and that's from the right people, from the BTC people. So it's great.
Definitely, and it's just one thing after. So as they tune the system and the network gets more stable and we have more consistently fast blocks, and then we have perp dex trading on Velar, and then we have, like all of these other projects that are starting to launch that needed fast blocks to be able to finish, like the V2 for on-chain reputation with zero authority, and like, Skullcoin's play to earn game, and all the stuff that is waiting on these iterations. A bunch of projects from the first D grants cohort, a bunch of projects from the second D grants cohort, all relying on these fast blocks. So we're going to
big ones, Stacking DAO, Zest, all of them are waiting we're
all
waiting
of them, right? So they're all going to be launching products and services that they've been building out. So we're going to have this constant stream of information that's going to attract more eyeballs on this space. It's like this self-feeding loop of we've made this point, now we're going to all these little things to iterate, but we've been planning for it. So it's almost like this well-planned marketing structure that happened didn't happen intentionally. It happened just because that's how it ended up going to develop. But it actually is going to work out very well for our ecosystem as things develop, because you're just going to have more and more.
I think also Dylan said something really cool. Like, a lot of people will not even know they're using like Bitflow or Stacks, you know, like they will just be swapping in their wallets or stuff like that, and it will be powered by Stacks. So technically, you know, like it's super simplified for everyone. I'm just excited, man. There was just this crypto conference here in Dubai, and I see all of these crypto people, but then if they're not from BTC, if they're not from the BTC ecosystem, I'm like, okay, boring. And I try to find, you know, I met Charlie from BitLayer, the founder, and a few other cool people, and made a few more connections. So like, and we also set up now a Dubai-based BTC and ordinal community here. So in December, after the Bitcoin conference, we're gonna have like a side event, just like ordinals, like basically, yeah. I'm super excited to have more people here.
It's a great time to be in this space. It really is, and we have such an awesome community too. You know, it's just like we all support each other. You know, you're coming on our show, and GPSC comes on our show, and we come on and support you in your spaces, and we host everybody, and I have a question about this, and Trippin' Monkey's going to help me understand that, or Gary's going to help me understand this part of it, or Set Zeus is going to come talk to us about security, and like there's just everyone now. Muneeb's going to come.
We're all connecting people to other people. You know, someone comes to me, they're like, where I can get funding. Someone's like, where can I get marketing? And I'm like, hey, you go there, you go here, and we all just like, you know, and even seeing our mutual growth, like GPSC. Remember when we were talking, I was like super new in the ecosystem. Even on Twitter, I was like, oh my god, I have this NFT collection I want to get out, and like he was helping me. He was the first one I showed the art to, and got some feedback. So and Peace, like super skilled space, you know. And
right, you were one of my first Spaces guests, actually.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I didn't know what I was
going now. It's incredible.
Yeah, very rapidly. The whole space is just erupting, and sometimes in the moment, short-term moment, like when we get Nakamoto launches, and that was super exciting. By the way, we had a 4-hour. We had like 400 people tuning in at one point live when we
were live, like on Space when that was happening. You know, like, and people were like, through now, like it's almost it's the block, like is it fast? Like it was super legendary, you know.
It was, yeah.
I love how we do things together.
Right, and our community hangs out together. You know, we like it digitally, because we're not all in the same location, right? We're not in the same geographic location, but we get together, we jump into each other's spaces, and we just kind of end up having, you know, sometimes it's serious conversations, and sometimes it's just kids are home from school for election day, so my daughter is making herself some, I don't know if you can hear that calamity in the background, but it's just GPSC dropped out. He was having some trouble.
You know, I had a call today with the founder of RDs. It's also a super cool project. And yes, but we had a call, and he had like a super cool background, which was like obviously fake, but like perfect for Web3. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. There was like LED lights, there was a crazy view, and like super like as if we were in the metaverse. And I'm like, this is super cool. I want the background like that.
It was the founder of what project?
RDs. Yeah, it's I'm not yet very acquainted with them, but I might take a closer look and work with them, and then we will have more content. But there's so many. I met so many people that are building dope stuff, like really, really cool stuff. And I met a lot of people that don't know on which blockchain to build, and I convinced them to do it on BTC. And obviously, and I'm like, why would you go to a congested, like super big, evolved, like blockchain if here you will have support, like because you will be the first one or the only one, and people are gonna realize and gonna come to our ecosystem more and more. So you have more chances here to get, I think, further. So
if you can build on Bitcoin, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
yeah, but the thing is, people, they don't know that yet, you know? They don't know that they can and what's possible.
Right. Well, and we don't know what's possible actually, right? We're still building that out here too. You know, there's a lot of functionality left to be designed. But you know, it's just there's a ton of very big brains, smart people in the space that are specifically on stacks, but also in Bitcoin. Very smart people. Sometimes there's this maxi mentality that I don't personally adhere to because, well, it's not really, that doesn't jive with the decentralized ethos, right? If things are going to be decentralized, then you can't just have one. You got to have many. There's going to be options. There has to be. But I see the people building on stacks and the people building on Bitcoin in the areas around stacks to be very, very highly skilled, very technical, building for the future, you know, building with a forward vision. It's not a lot of, we got to get this done now because the bull market's coming, because we're not necessarily worried about the bull market. We're worried about building a platform that has staying power. And that speaks a lot to me. You know, that makes me comfortable about hooking my horse here. You know what I mean?
You know, honestly, like throughout this like few days where the market is like super red, like I have not heard anyone saying anything about that because we have so much stuff, like positive stuff happening in the ecosystem that no one is even mentioning that everything, like the market's fully red. We're all like, everything's dumping. No one's like writing like we're not gonna make it or it's over. I haven't seen anything like that, you know, like
I saw it as a buying opportunity. That was a buy. Not that I'm sitting on a ton of cash, but I make my buys when we touch the bottom of the Bollinger Bands. You know, that's the time. Not financial advice, but I bought some stacks yesterday at $1.42, $1.46. You know, and now it's already up. You know, like 3% from there, and I know it's going to do much. I know it's going to do much better than that over the next year or so. And eventually we'll get into a bear market and things will correct and we might even see this number again.
Yeah, but we will be here and we will be building dope shit. So I don't really care.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. There's like cutting edge game.
Whenever you use that perfect DCA.
Yes. When you get DCA opportunities, it feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's been a blast, like seeing everybody building in the space, and I feel like whenever we have these pullbacks, it just gives us just a little bit more time to keep building cool stuff. So I'm not in any rush. Of course, I want to see those big green candles that are on the way. But yeah, it's right around the corner, and it only gives us just a little bit more time to get some more visibility on the stuff and do some more onboarding. So really excited for these opportunities.
What's next for you, man? What are you working on next? Now that you finally got your NFT launch done, you can put that down now for a little while. What you got next?
I think what's next, I think Landy has me for a little bit. Landy wants to do something that is redacted right now, but he wants me to make some art for the Moist guys. And I also have something lined up with the Honey Badgers on STX. That's a cool dev. He's got a really good vibe. So looking forward to working with Landy and the Honey Badgers.
Cool. Now, Honey Badger, that's the Honey Badger token, or the Honey Badger. Is the Honey Badger token the same as the Honey Badger's ordinals, guys?
No, it's different things.
You're talking about the Honey Badger Stacks token, and that's Shiflet, right? From the Bitcoin Pepe community.
The Honey
Or is there
Badger
something else?
token. Yeah, so the one that bonded out of the bonding curve.
Very cool group of guys working on that. Cool team.
Yeah, dude, they're very solid. I do believe that they came from the Pepe. It's one of the guys from the Pepe community, and they just carry a very good vibe from that squad. And he went ahead and launched his own token on STX City. It bonded out of the curve and it's now Velar. He's got some cool lights and some cool views. So I think his views and I think we get along good. Our vibe, the energy is what I'm looking for. If we can match the same type of grind mode, we can come up with some dope stuff. So that's what I'm looking for in collaborations now. Is like, can you keep your feet, keep it pushing, keep moving the needle. So really looking forward to working with the Moist Squad and the Honey Badgers.
Man, that's you never stop, right? You never stop. You just got stuff after stuff after stuff, bro.
Grind
Very
doesn't
cool.
stop, man.
Stacksy,
Doesn't
when's
stop
your
for anything.
right? That's right. We just there's the world keeps on spinning. What are we gonna do with ourselves? We got to do something. Stacksy, when are you? Are you coming close? Are you almost ready to launch? You have that NFT collection. That's your.
I am ready, but like I'm looking for the right time when I feel like today is the day.
So there's too much other traffic going on in the space. You want to wait until.
I don't really know. Like I feel like it has to be like, and I still have to do like to come up with how I'm gonna launch. And I mean, my collections are very exclusive, right? Like the last one was 40 pieces. This one will be 42 or maybe also 40. And I did actually manage to make them valuable for my holders because they are already almost net positive with all the airdrops and the NFT airdrops they've gotten.
Cool.
So in order for me to be able to do that, I have to keep it like small so I can negotiate with projects like good perks for them, right? So yeah, but I'm definitely excited for you to see it because it's like a total level up to the first one. And yeah, I just really want to share. GPSC, you know how that feels when you just want to share your art and get some feedback, and then people tell you like if they loved it or not. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I hope you guys will support me.
Of course. However you need. Let me know what we can do, and we'll happily help you.
Awesome.
I can't wait to see it. You should show me. You should send me some sneak peeks of it.
No. I like to do the reveal only when they mint out, like last time. It was perfect.
I won't show anybody.
No. Yeah, I know you won't, but like I want the surprise effect to be there.
Fine.
Yeah.
So GPSC, you're going to join me tonight, right, for the live election coverage. I think it'll probably be too late for Stacksy. It's not until 6 p.m. Eastern time. You're welcome to come on, but I'll probably be going until about 1 a.m. So if you wake up early, you might catch the tail end and be able to join me towards the end.
Probably I'll catch like the most interesting stuff,
Right.
But
by then,
I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that they're gonna falsify, like, because I have so much experience with shitty countries where people have no choice and it's all falsified and it's always the dictator wins or whatever. So I just hope like in the US that they have something to somehow track that it's legit and there were not false new thousands of ballots put in and yeah, because I don't believe even like European democratic countries, sometimes they say they're a democracy but then they silence you and
well, I do think overall I think we can do a lot more to have secure elections and a publicly validatable, publicly readable chain of the votes. We're working in an ecosystem with a newer developed technology that will allow for that. Actually,
Yeah, but not this time.
not this time.
Not yet.
Not this
Exactly.
time, and depending on who wins, it won't be adopted for next time either. And even actually, no matter who wins, I don't know that they want to. I don't know that the vested interests in power will ever want
You want to have it, visible.
to ever have it that open and public,
Yeah.
which speaks a lot, right? It tells us a lot already. You know, they want to know every single one of our financial transactions, but they don't want us to know what they're doing with our
Hey, for me,
money.
the weirdest stuff is like your ID thing. I'm like, what? Like, you go to a doctor, you go anywhere, you have to show your ID, and you
Well,
don't
let me
have
explain where that
you're voting. Like, what is this? Like,
There's a-
anyone can go.
there is an argument to that. So part of the reason why I can see a case for not forcing people to have an ID to vote, and it's because it could be construed as having a poll tax or a limitation on a poor person that maybe can't afford to go get their ID for whatever reason to be able to vote. But the solution to that is free public IDs, you know, and then you just give everyone an ID and then at no cost because it's necessary for the state to
Wait,
use.
what do you mean? But you live in the US, you don't have an ID?
Sure, some poor people might. So what if I lost my license or it expired and I didn't go get a new
bring
one?
a passport.
Well, it costs. So I have a passport, but it costs me like $300 to get a passport. So,
What, you don't travel? Like,
well, I do. I just recently made it out of the country for the first time in my life. My wife took me to
really?
Aruba. Yeah, I went to Aruba. I can't imagine why anyone would go anywhere else. Actually, after going to Aruba, it was really great.
Jeez, what do
but
you mean? You never traveled outside of the US before?
I'd never made it out of the U.S. before.
Man, you totally should make it out of the US. It's like beautiful, the world, you know.
I started having children when I was 18 years old, so I just haven't been able to. I haven't had the resources to really put it together, and
Wow.
also, you know, it's like, am I
Wow.
going to do a lot of traveling and spend a lot of money on traveling when I have all these kids to take care of? I'm going to leave them behind.
Yeah.
Traveling with them is expensive, so it's, you know, it just didn't line up. It wasn't a priority for me. But poor people don't have passports in the U.S., you know, and I can see the argument against forcing people to have something that costs money in order to vote, because it acts as a form of
But shouldn't like the country make sure that all their citizens have like a passport?
Well, right. The solution,
because in other countries you are not allowed to live there if you don't have that.
If you well, so part of it too is in the United States, they're not supposed to ID.
And it shouldn't cost either. It should be free, actually.
The solution would be providing everyone a free ID with which they can use to vote. That would make the most sense to me. But they don't. I think it's actually California. They made it illegal to ask people for an ID.
What?
Landy was telling me he's
Wow.
a poll official. He's a poll official, and he was telling me that the state he's in requires they are not allowed to ask people for ID. It's illegal for them in their state to ask people for an ID. So if they have somebody who comes in and says they're this person's name at this address, they just have to let them vote. They can't verify that they're not allowed to.
Yeah, but what if that person is just a tourist? like for example, let's say I just arrived, I'm in New York, and I want to go vote, and I just say I live there and there, will I be able to vote?
Yes. Well, I don't know about specifically New York, what their requirements.
No. I mean, like, just it was an example. So anyone can go, even like if they don't.
In that.
If they're not American and they don't have papers, they can just go and vote.
In a lot of places, yes. Yes.
But that's crazy.
In my state, I have to give them my name and address. They read out the name and address to somebody else that checks the roll to see if my name and address is on there.
So that you exist in the system.
And that's it. That's it. I do not have to show an ID.
Okay, but at least they check that you're an American citizen. That's what I mean, you know?
Well, they check that there's a name and address associated with the name and address I gave them.
Okay, but that's...
So if I'm a deceased person, but I'm still on the voter rolls.
Oh, then I could go and say, hey, I'm...
Come in and say, I'm...
Like my grandma.
You know? and you can come in and say you're me. And who are they to challenge, what you're saying, right? I mean, that's really how it is. It is like that. Which, again, we're supposed to be an open and free society. So there's all sorts of contradictory and conflicting ideas around our electoral process. One of them being, we have this two-party system as if our 300 million people in the US or something like that, 300 million plus, we somehow only have two options that represent everyone's interests.
So weird.
It's bananas. It's ridiculous on its face that we have a sufficient system and a sufficient process. We don't. But we also don't have the capacity to really fix it quickly. The biggest thing people can do right now is get involved locally. The national election is actually less relevant to local politics. And getting involved locally doesn't mean just voting in local races. It means going to your town hall or the committee meetings and listening to what they're proposing for ordinances in your town, getting to know the people on your city council, maybe even participating, running for city council, getting involved in that level. And then at the state level, the same thing. Get to know the people that represent you, talk to them, ask them questions. Don't just go vote because they're of one party or another. Because sometimes, especially locally, the party affiliation matters much less and doesn't tell you as much about what that person actually believes or stands for. It's better to talk to them. It can also be very discouraging talking to them because you might find out that they're not even as good as you thought they weren't. So it's it can be discouraging, but we need to get more people involved in local politics. We need to get more people involved in local politics or things aren't going to change. That's decentralization, by the way. Federal, national. Go ahead.
I'm just grateful that X exists because honestly, any other social media platform, there's no other opinions and everyone surrounds you and they are all being fed the same information.
Right.
And I have been on both sides now and I have been in so many countries and I see it so good because I used to think that there's only propaganda coming from the Soviet area. Then I lived in the West, so that's what I was thinking. Then I moved out of the West and now I'm living in Dubai and now I see that propaganda comes from all sides.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, wow. And only since I'm on X, I actually see other opinions and I see people with arguments against things that you can't even voice on Instagram, for example, or anywhere because you get shadow banned. Whenever I had political posts, I got shadow banned. Whenever I was speaking about COVID, God knows what, your posts get deleted. What the fuck is that? What do you mean? So I'm so grateful for this platform. I changed so many of my opinions and views. I'm just amazed. There were times that if someone would tell me that they're because I had this hatred towards him that was fed to me because I don't even care, right? I'm not from the US, but because they feed you the information on other platforms, you kind of believe that that's your opinion, but it's not. It's
Right. Well, they've
just
been,
like a sheep being
they
manipulated.
have been, I talk about they,
Mhm.
it's not necessarily this monolithic entity, but there is a level, a class of people that exist beyond the scope of nations. The same people that manipulate both sides in wars, that manifest world wars. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens by people pushing buttons and pulling levers and forcing things to happen based on the way that they can manipulate leaders. And those people that are working towards those goals have also been developing ways to manipulate the means of communications to promote messaging. They don't want to inform the public of the truth. They want to tell the public what to think and what to think about it. So what to think about and what to think about it. And so social media the internet created a problem for them because it made it a lot more diverse opportunities for people to talk out. I don't know if you guys really remember YouTube from 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, YouTube was very different than it is now. There wasn't all the ABC, NBC, Fox News on there, CNN. They didn't all have stuff on there. You could actually go, and it was actually just people making content, kind of like we're doing now. But it was available and on there to find, and now it's very, very siloed and restricted, and people are put into echo chambers. Like I used to be on Facebook all the time. Facebook is also very different now than it was 10, 15 years ago. I don't see my friends' feeds the same. They don't see my stuff. You have to pay to get any information out there. Even when you do pay, if it's information that they don't want to spread, you get a different algorithm than the people that do want to spread it. And then you're right. We had the X files or the Twitter files before, that was from right after Elon took it over, where it's undeniable. The FBI and the U.S. Government was dictating to these platforms who to censor, who to ban. Like, that's really Orwellian. That's very, very. It's completely opposite to how our government is supposed to act, based on the Constitution and which is the rules by which the government is supposed to act by. So it is. We're in a tough situation right now as a society. Although aside from election day and coming up to the election, I tend to look at it as I don't really like. I think I want Trump to win. I think that'll be better for most people. I'm not sold that the ruling establishment that's in place now will be much different with him in the White House. They just won't be able to act as
Maybe some wars will end. Just saying.
I hope so. Unnecessary wars, completely unnecessary wars. And I mean, you guys don't. I don't have a side, but I mean, not talking about what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and that whole catastrophe and mess, but what's being done in Gaza right now is just horrible stuff, and it's not okay. There's a ton of innocent people that are just being it's a genocide in Gaza. It's what's going on. Northern Gaza is being taken after decades of embargo and really a very a very military state style control and oppression over their society. Now the whole thing's just being taken, and they're gonna justify resettlement. They're gonna take that land.
Look at the fact that on what you're on, that defines your view. So all the people on one platform have the same view, and then on another have a different. Like, how is that? Isn't that like a little bit crazy?
Well, it's actually not. The reason it's crazy, or it sounds crazy, is because it's not accurate. Certain platforms amplify certain views and not others. Where on X, I do see a lot more.
And you can decide what you think.
Exactly. It's a more open discussion. And, there's some guys in our space that are definitely opposed to Trump, and that's okay. Gary Reiger, who I think is an awesome dude, very smart guy, doing a lot of great stuff in our space, building his gated project, doing his zero to clarity stuff. He's supporting Kamala Harris, and he is opposed to Donald Trump. And I think it's based on, a fundamental upbringing where it used to be back in like the union days when that stuff actually mattered, and there was a lot more small business stuff as well. It used to be that the Democratic Party represented the working man, and the Republican Party represented the more wealthy people in society. That was generally how it went. But in the last several decades, it hasn't been that. It's been very, very convoluted on both sides. Neither party really represent. The Republican Party did not want anything to do with Donald Trump, by the way. They fought very hard to try to not let him take the primary in 2015, 2016. He beat them anyway. He beat the party. So that party somewhat has transformed. At the same time, the Democratic Party screwed over Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders should have won the primary in 2016 and in 2020. He was the most popular candidate then too. And so the corporate party establishment just railroads the actual. There would be if the Republicans actually had a different candidate right now, they'd actually probably be doing better, because nobody really likes Joe Biden and what he's done. Nobody really likes Kamala Harris. She was like the worst candidate in the primary last cycle. She sucks. She's terrible. She can't talk. She's annoying. Like, she's horrible. She's horrible as a person. Like, she's just terrible. Her record as, putting people in jail for a bunch of nonsense out in, like, she's just horrible. She's awful. But Trump doesn't help us either. Trump doesn't actually make it easy to support him either. He kind of sucks too. He doesn't like.
I'm just so blessed. I don't have a country. I completely denounced all kinds of proper ties to having a country, because I've always lived in so many places. And I am for people, and I'm for people not dying. I'm for people not starving. And I don't give a shit about who's running what. As long, just don't touch us, don't fuck with our lives. And I found a place where I can do whatever I want, and everything works here. And there's great rules. No one's killing anyone, and I'm just happy to be here in the UAE. And I feel safer and more loved than by any country that I hold a passport from.
And you have no income tax.
More protected, right? And I feel more wanted here and welcomed. And this is just something I'm really grateful for this country is what how they make me feel here. And
what made you decide to go to Dubai? How long have you been in Dubai?
Well, I have not lived longer than a year anywhere for over 12 years in a row, because I'm an artist. So I always had contracts, a year in Macau, a year in the Philippines, then half a year there, then a year in Paris, then in Indonesia, then on cruise ships. So I was always not having a home, and I never really I was born in Germany, but I'm not German and don't have the German passport. So how can I say I'm from Germany if this government didn't? it's
So
refugees
being
there
born
have
in
more
Germany,
than, like, I have to make a tourist visa to go to my home. So how can I call it home? You know, how can I say that I'm from there? I'm not. They don't want me.
being born in Germany doesn't make you a German citizen.
Now, yes, but not in the 90s. I was
Now,
born in the 90s.
because it was still kind
No.
of, yeah, okay. Because it was,
And that was kind of like my first home and my only home that I had. And since then, it was just moving everywhere. And okay, I have 2 passports now from shitty countries. I'm not going to disclose which ones, but I'm not in these countries. And now I found a place where I actually want to stay, and that made me wanna like build a life here, because I don't feel like they don't want me here. Like, you go to Europe, they, like, your visa finishes, they want you to leave. Or you go to another country, they speak one language, and if you don't speak that language, you are not theirs, you know? And here in the UAE, you have 90% of people that are expats, only 10% are locals. So everyone is theirs, you know? We are all here. It's a super big
so
mix.
it's a
The
new melting
rules
pot.
work. No one's stealing. I'm not closing my apartment ever. It's open. I leave the house, my door is open, my e-scooter stands outside unlocked. Like, no, I'm having goosebumps speaking about it. I've never felt so safe. And so, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, no one tries to kick me out. And I really value that as someone that has never really had a country. So
Very
yeah.
interesting. That's it. You know, it isn't it. It's an interesting concept, because at some point,
Also
things
never
might,
pay tax.
right.
by the
That's
way.
what I was. There's no income tax, right?
And I've never paid tax in my life. So whenever you have these talks about, oh my god, taxes coming up or whatever, I have to pay like half my salary and stuff, I have no idea about any of that. Never had to do it.
Well, that's very lucky. There have been some years where I had.
So I kind of always fucked the system since I'm very young, and I love doing it.
I have had some pretty significant tax bills in my day, and it's never fun. It's never fun because you don't really get to you don't really get an input on how that money's getting spent. You don't really get to, like, yeah, you get to vote, but you only get 2 choices and they're pre-selected and they're already vetted. Like, they're not we're not actually allowed to have any kind of real representation in government. It's already, it's controlled before it gets to our chance to make a decision. And that is actually why the government over time just gets more and more detached from the people and more
Yeah, and they
by
sound more
special interests.
like the countries that they hate. I'm sorry to say, but what I see now is not any difference in how things happen in third world countries.
It's true. When I was a kid, I was born in the late 70s. I was in school, elementary school in the 80s. You know, the Cold War was still going on, and we were told about how bad communism was because, you know, because it was a planned economy and it wasn't based on supply and demand, that they always had shortages of things and or too much of other stuff that they didn't need, and it was terrible, and you couldn't pick your job. You just got told what you had to do. It didn't matter what you were good at. If they needed more ditch diggers, you were going to be a ditch digger, whether you had and that's what it was like. And now we've kind of come, like, we're kind of like, the United States has kind of become a little bit of a caricature of some of that stuff.
What they did not want to become, yeah.
Right.
Or what they were talking about, yeah, issues of other countries. Yeah.
Right. It's not, like we had these.
When I was younger, I used to dream about living in America. Now, like, nah.
Well, because don't get me wrong, I'm not looking to leave. I have a lot, my kids are here and they're never leaving. So, I mean, I'm here. But I support our country, and I do think that there's a lot of good things about it. But the government is way more. It's way bloated. It spends way too much money. It's not productive with the money that it spends. It's very, very inefficient. It's very, very corrupted. and so is by design. Outside of that is the media apparatus, the academia, the education system, and most industry is infiltrated by this same uh establishment that is basically usurping the government from our people. That's what we have right now is a dysfunctional process. Vinny's got something. One thing I find super crazy is how the U.S. taxes their citizens, even if they're not living in the U.S. Yeah, even if you actually, as a U.S. citizen, if I were to move to Dubai, I'd still be subject to U.S. income taxes.
Are you sure? Even if you become a residency here and disavow your residency over there?
If I actually expatriate, then I think yes.
Yeah, that's what people do. They open companies here and they spend like a few months a year here, and then they travel and they don't pay tax.
Well, like maybe I'll have to when we actually incorporate DeOrganized, then I'll have to incorporate DeOrganized in Dubai. We'll see.
Awesome. Make an office here.
You can be our the head of our international offices in Dubai will be Stacksy.
But I really want a mic. Like I was always like imagining like these mics that you have in the hand and you hold them. Like I really want to have that one. And then I will interview people at the conferences.
There's this kid. I haven't seen him in a long time. He used to do live videos. He would go to locally in Rhode Island where I am. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he used to go around with like a beater, like the mixer, like the thing you put on an electric beater, but it looks kind of like a microphone shape, right? And he'd go around and pretend that was a microphone and interview people. Like, and it was like a lot of stuff like, like a whisk. He would go around with a whisk and use it, pretend that was a fake, like pretend it was a microphone. And, because he didn't need a microphone. He was just recording people with his phone or a nearby camera. So the audio was fine. He didn't really need a microphone. It was just a prop. But he used to use this fake microphone. And that was part of his shtick. Just goofy stuff like that. But you don't need a microphone in this situation. I'm actually not sure what I'm going to do.
But I really want to have one. Like, I want to have this, like, thing in my head and then go around. I don't know.
Well, it actually, if you're interviewing people, that's when it actually makes more.
Yeah, for interviews,
Right. I might be doing that. So I'm going to be going up. I don't know if you guys caught the EZA guy.
Yes. Oh, incredible what they're going to do for our ecosystem.
They're building so much stuff. Actually, I think
incredible.
Gecko Security came through their project, so they've already got some really successful stuff coming through there. And I'm going up to Harvard to interview, to kind of just cover the event. And I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I don't have a microphone like this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Order it. Come on, it will arrive tomorrow. Amazon. Easy.
I'm probably gonna order a mic and then get.
Look, I already have a light here because without that light, it's already dark here. You would not be seeing me right now. So okay. I came prepared. We're growing, so we gotta become more professional. What is this?
That's right. Well, that's right. That's why we have the new logo, the new process. Where I screwed it up a little bit this morning, but we're still working on it. And I wasn't going to use the countdown clock, and then I did. And
that was cool.
Yeah, and except for I remembered like last second I needed to turn the music down and then put my so I didn't get it right on the 30 seconds. But to your point, we're just always getting better. We're getting more equipment. We're learning the equipment we have. Good morning, Ace. Again, thank you, brother, for my my one of one on that Trump collection, man. That Trump collection, love it.
Okay.
I've had you guys on for an hour and 15 minutes, and I appreciate your time. Obviously, I can just keep talking and talking, but I don't want to keep you guys all tied up all day. GPSC, I'll see you later on the live election coverage. What
And I'll see you in the morning
Yeah,
when I
sounds
wake
good.
up, and hopefully there will be some results.
and if we're still going, you
Yeah.
definitely can. You know the routine, so you can come on. You can come on and say hi tomorrow morning too.
I'm not in the morning. I'm like this.
That's what people want to see. The real Stacksy.
And honestly, I work from my office, and my office is my bed. So I don't like to leave my office.
I remember that business meeting actually. I remember.
Our first meeting. But that's how I look when I work. I'm just no clothes in bed.
I think you did that because you were.
Why not? Like, if people would have the ability to do that, they would. But they have to go to offices, and I don't.
My office is in the middle of my living room,
Yeah, see?
and I definitely do some work on my phone from bed, like most
I
people.
don't like sitting. I have a super hyper flexible back because I can fold in two. So for me, sitting is not very comfortable for a long period of time. I just want to lay down.
You can fold in two backwards.
Yeah.
Prove it.
I can send you some videos where I am in the air and my legs are literally like.
I believe it. I've seen some of your routine. I was just messing with you. I believe it. All right. Well, this is this is actually what I need to work on, is figuring out the end of the show and how to end the show. I always get like, I don't want to say goodbye. It's the same thing. It's the same problem I have when I show houses too. I go and I show houses and I'll end up talking to my buyers for like an hour after the showing, because you guys know me. So, you can imagine I'm just like talking about all sorts of stuff, not about buying a house.
You could have a timer that zooms us out no matter what after an hour, it will be like 20, 19, 18, and then it's gone,
Well, thank you guys, but you know what? Actually, I can just drop you guys out. I don't have to like keep you guys all on here awkwardly. That's probably what I should do.
And what? And then you're gonna speak with yourself?
Maybe. You think people want to hear me keep talking? I don't think so. I think they've heard enough of me this morning. They got to listen to me for hours later, maybe. So no, we'll probably.
Okay. Well, I wish you all good luck with the elections today, and it was cool catching up. And I will be on the show every Monday for a short weekly recap now in our Stacks news. So I'm excited.
Super happy. You did an awesome job. It was great, very informative, and thank you, Stacksy. You have a great rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you when you wake up in the morning if we're still going live. Thank you for joining us. And GPSC, man, any last words?
Yeah, man. Keep loving the room. Keep the frequency high. Keep your head down building. Yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah, I hope everybody has a blessed day today and a solid week. Go out there and vote if you haven't voted. And stay tuned for the next episode.
Right on, my brother. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you later on with the election coverage. Looking forward to it.
Sounds
Peace
good.
out. I am PeaceLoveMusic, your host for the Let's Go Morning Show, coming at you Monday through Friday on DeOrganized Media with Bitcoin Live. And get out there and vote. You all have an excellent day. Thanks for chatting with us and listening to us. And we'll see you soon.